The MacBook Pro 16-inch 2020, the most expensive laptop I've ever bought. It's also the workhorse for my entire professional life. So, should you buy it? It is the best laptop in the world in my opinion, but after 6 months of use, I'm still not completely happy with it. I have 5 big issues. I'll give you the details, but first let me tell you a story about the MacBook Pro for you to understand why I'm so tough on Apple here. People talk about minimalism, but they have no idea. They still sit in a house and own a car. When I moved to Myanmar, Burma in 2013 in my usual role as CTO to set up our office there, I had 3 physical items I cared about. My iPhone, I think it was an iPhone 5 then. Number 2, my coffee maker. Number 3, my MacBook Pro. It was the time the Retina display had just come out.
Well, let's show it to you now. It is a Retina display.
Otherwise, in a big corporation, IT is very regulated. You just can't have people connecting their own stuff to an internal network that also runs infrastructure for nations, because one person out of 100,000 people is going to get hacked and get virus. That's $1 billion disaster in the making. And our corporate policy at the time was Windows-based. But I know what I'm doing, and I've never been much of a conformist, so I just used my Retina MacBook Pro. And at that time it was vastly superior. Soon we had the first executive customer negotiation and our highest boss had flown in. We sat waiting. I was going to cover the technical parts and he the commercials. As he sat next to me, we had our laptops out in our laps. He had the industrial dark plastic, a bit ugly Windows laptop. And I had this sleek aluminium machine with this amazing Retina display. And he asked, "What is that?" "It's the new MacBook Pro." "Is that allowed?" "No." And he like, huh. Then the following week I thought, okay, now I need to go back to the corporate Windows model. I'm gonna get a warning letter here from the global HR that if I don't comply with the corporate IT policy, I can go to hell or whatever I want, but I can't be in this company. So I was preparing to have one shipped in. But then nothing happened. A month later, it was our next negotiation. He flew in again, we came to the same place, we sat down on the same chairs, I had my MacBook, he didn't say anything, just took out his laptop, and then he also had one. We laughed quietly, and after that, they made it allowed and took the MacBook Pro into the managed models. I loved that machine. I used it out in the jungle when we measured network speeds. I used it in my car every day. When my driver had a car crash, it flew into the windshield. The windshield got a crack, not a scratch on the Mac. I upgraded it once to the latest model, and while I was there, it never failed me. Never once. And that's very important to me. If I spend one day to travel to a remote area, I simply can't have my laptop fail on me. Or if I make the executive presentation to the board for $1 billion deal, I can't have the presentation freeze. It just cannot happen. Most other people have problems with their computer from time to time. Not me. That MacBook Pro never failed. Not once. Never died. Never unexpectedly restarted. Never froze. Now I'm here in 2020 with a MacBook Pro 16-inch. And I love it less. I think it is still the best laptop, all categories. I use it for everything. I write on it, I do my trading on it, I connect a camera with a cam link and do my video meetings. I plug in an external USB-C display and do my video editing. When I'm done for the day, I just unplug everything, shove it in my bag, and I know that everything is there. I don't even bring the charger around. I have 2 chargers, one at work and one here at my office studio. If I'm out, I run on battery or I bring a power bank. I have one of those Anker power banks, I think it's 72 watt hours, cost $45 if I need it. I love that I can just pick it up anywhere, at home, outside, at work, and I got everything there. All files, current projects, personal stuff, it's all there always. Someone calls me about anything, it's there. I can edit the video after the family sleeps. I always have everything at my fingertips. I know many work off SSDs, I prefer to just copy the current project files to the local SSD. I got the 1TB option, big enough for current projects. When I'm done with it, I just copy everything to an external archive drive and delete it. I got this one right when it came out, and I took good specs but not unreasonable. 2.3 GHz, 8-core i9, 64 GB RAM, maybe a little more than enough, and the AMD Radeon Pro 5500M 8 GB. 1 TB SSD, perfect size. In Sweden that came out to the somewhat unreasonable 44,000 SEK, including VAT, which is $4,863 including the Swedish VAT. It's a lot cheaper if buying in the US or in Asia, but I needed to order it on my Swedish company. So what's good? The all-round machine, no catastrophe anywhere. Screen is great, keyboard is great, I write a lot and I write fast. The butterfly keyboard that plagued us 2016 to 2019 always glitched on me and I found it super annoying. It often broke my flow when I was writing, I absolutely hated it. No glitches on this one so far, that's great. Security is good. The T2 chip is a killer solution. I like the integration with the Find My Device, the integrated two-factor authentication. I like how easy it is to lock, Command Control Q, and it unlocks really fast with a fingerprint. My YubiKey can sit in one of these 4 slots. If you never used YubiKey, you should. Protects you from the most common methods of being hacked on any service. Yubico was founded in Sweden actually in 2007 by Stina. Security is one of those things you don't appreciate when it works. When I worked in corporate, I faced very sophisticated espionage attempts from our Chinese competitors. Now I have trading information on the machine and I love the security architecture of it. The trackpad is incredibly great, better than a mouse. The weight, portability is super, microphone fantastic. Speakers fantastic. The face cam is crap, but that doesn't bother me because I always connect an external camera when I'm doing video calls from my desk. The angle from a laptop is not nice, no matter what camera you put there. Graphics then. What is super critical to understand and not highlighted well is that you need to be conscious of which of the 2 graphics systems is currently in operation. If you are on battery, you need to quit Photoshop, for example. If you don't, even if you have it in the background, the laptop will still run on the higher performance card, in my case the AMD 5500, even if you are just typing on in the notepad or surfing in Chrome, and the battery will drain really fast. And if you want to do something that benefits from better graphics, it might not switch on by itself. For example, the screen recording that I use a lot, you get much better screen recording if you open Photoshop or something in the background, because then you do want to engage the higher performance card, not run on the power efficient but lower performance Intel UHD Graphics 630. I'm using iStats to keep an eye on this, to make sure that I'm on the right graphics card for the purpose. Actually, I really like that there are 2 distinct graphics modes. But I like the idea more than the implementation. I got the best graphics option available, it's okay, but not great. And I think it's been the wrong trade-off. I understand the idea to not go overboard with power consumption, so that you can get the full speed also on battery, that's why they went with this graphics. But I think that was not necessary. We anyway have this really power efficient Intel UHD graphics. So when plugged in, I would have liked to go all out on speed instead, even if that means it's only full speed when plugged into power. I mean, I know working mobile. In many countries I've lived in, there was literally power outage every day. I've worked on more dirt roads than I can count. But you can always bring an extra power bank if you absolutely need the extra bit of performance, like editing videos on the go or something. But most of the time, When doing graphics heavy tasks like that, you're anyway plugged in. Another issue with the trade-off is that having an external display plugged in switches to the higher performance graphics. The Intel option can't handle that. So then the fans speed up quite loud, even if the whole computer is idle. That's quite annoying. Now, I often have the AirPods Pro or some other headphones, so I'm okay with it, but still. If I edit videos, I would expect the fans to go really hard, and I'd be fine with that, because now we have noise cancellation. But fans spinning loud even when checking my stocks or writing a report in notes, just because I have the external display connected. Not great. Next issue. Price. Man, I think this one cost more than double that laptop I had in 2012. Enormous amount of money. Last, I talked about how in years of hard abuse the last one never failed me. This one, the power adapter at one point started thinking it was a 60 watt charger instead of 96 watt. Then if editing a video, for example, the battery will slowly drain empty even if it's plugged in. I changed it on warranty. Then last week it happened again on the new charger. Fortunately now I have two, and after a few days it somehow recovered and became a 96 watt charger again. And worse, much worse. 3 times in these 6 months the laptop has suddenly frozen. Like hard freeze for 20 seconds, pointer not moving on the screen, then the fans spin up at max for a few seconds and computer is switching off. Some hardware glitch, probably, as it happened on completely different situations. If it happens a 4th time, I'll hand it in for repair, but since it's an intermittent error every 1 or 2 months, no showing up in the diagnostics, they won't know how to fix it. One of those things that may end up being a lot of trips back and forth. And that means I can't rely on this one as a single machine for the most critical tasks. Now, at the moment, I don't go to the jungle to do measurements, as I'm comfortably here in Stockholm, Sweden, but if I'm holding a CTO presentation to a billionaire investor, I have maybe 15 minutes booked. You simply can't waste people's time in that situation. I can't blow someone's $1 billion deal because my laptop failed. Then I need to have 2 laptops, one as a hot swap backup, and I really don't like that. So quality control, not as impressed as I have been before. Touch bar, still meh. I use it to mute the speakers and change screen brightness, same as I did with the keys in 2012. Adds nothing to me personally. I don't use it in Premiere Pro or anywhere else. I feel it's the same as the touch-sensitive display on the iPhones. It was a good idea, but I never used it. Can't ditch it. I do have emotional attachment to the Apple products. When Steve Jobs and teams did the first iPhone in 2007, it was made possible because of the Edge mobile data technology we had built. And I was the product responsible for that on Ericsson at the time. We integrated it to make sure it worked, and I was really proud of that.
Mobile device. But what we're going to do is get rid of all these buttons and just make a giant screen. A giant screen. Now, how are we going to communicate this? We don't want to carry around a mouse, right? So what are we going to do? Oh, a stylus, right? We're going to use a stylus. No. No. Who wants a stylus?
But these issues have tested my love quite a bit. I'm not completely happy. I want to see the following improvements in the next iteration. Number 1, more powerful graphics in a high-performance graphics mode, even if only on power. Number 2, ability to run a second screen while in low-performance graphics mode, so the fans don't need to spin. Number 3, cost efficiency. Welcome to go ahead from me to ditch the touch bar. Number 5, quality control. Unacceptable on this one. So, Tim, Phil, Sabine, Dan, Johnny, if any of you are listening, let's fix these things in the next iteration. I still think this is the best laptop money can buy today. I don't generally go for second bests. Those of you who know me, best in the world is a good start. See you in the next video. CTO LARSSON out. Hej då!